It's me. Hi. I'm the problem. It's me. Hi, welcome to Emily is Too Fond of Books, where we talk about books and sometimes we take breaks that are a little too long, but that's neither here nor there. I want to talk about something today. I want to assign a different queer book to a different Taylor Swift album. I worked painstakingly hard on this for I don't know, quite a while. Changing my answers, changing the featured songs, because I've picked like a featured song for every book that I chose. You'll see what I mean in a minute. And I feel really good about it, and I'm excited because I enjoy looking through Taylor's music or listening to Taylor's music through a queer lens because I myself am queer. And I'm sure that there's a lot of people who also like doing that. So I've taken my favorite queer books and I've matched them up to every album, including Midnight's, which just came out and is amazing, and you should stream it. So first book I have is the book that made me think of Taylor's debut album, Taylor Swift, and it's Some Girls Do by Jennifer Dugan. Since this book is YA and sort of reads like young YA, it feels like the vibes of debut run throughout it. Feeling isolated because of who you are, whether it be your sexuality, your whether it be your sexuality or socioeconomic background or anything else. These are big themes throughout here. Unrequited crushes are a big theme throughout the album as well, and I think this is just a good match for this one. A special mention to the song I'm Only Me When I'm With You. And I've talked about this book before, I believe, in my wrap-up for June, I think, and in some other video. But I really enjoyed this one a lot. This is a good one. Next book on my list reminds me a lot of Fearless, and it's Stay Gold by Tobly McSmith. I gave this book 5 stars. I read it back in 2020, and it's so good. It's like probably one of the best YA books I've ever read. And in this book, the relationship between Pony and Georgia, it's heavily gives me Fearless vibes. The way they fall in love is very sweet and innocent, and this album reminds me a lot of an innocent time in my life of young love. So I think that it works, and a special mention to the song Fearless, because Taylor herself has said that that song is about the perfect first date that at the time she'd never had. And off topic, but I hope that she's had it. Next book on my list, and the next album on my list, is the Heartstopper series. And Heartstopper, immediately I am thinking of Speak Now. And my reasoning for this is that it's just all about being proud of who you are and saying, what you mean when you know it and when you need to say it. And I think that I never really came up with just one song that stands out from the album. But the more I stand here and just think about it, the more I think it's Long Live, because I feel like, yes, the books are about the romance between Nick and Charlie, but they're also about this group of friends who are all, queer and different. They've got each other, and long live the walls we crashed through. I had the time of my life with you. Like, it just hits. The next album is Red, and the book that makes me think of Red is Rage, A Love Story by Julianne Peters. This book is pretty old. I think it was published back in 2010, and it was actually, or 2009 actually, and it was actually the first woman loving woman book that I've ever read. I was like 15 and I didn't know that I was queer, so, but like for some reason this hit. I wonder why. But the reason for this is that a lot of the Red Album deals with love as a color spectrum. Losing him was blue like I've never known, and so on. And this book deals with a relationship that at the beginning seems ideal to our main character. She's so happy, but just as quickly, she's in the pits of despair because her girlfriend has issues and takes them out on her. Like, it's an extremely abusive relationship. And I think Red handles a broad spectrum of intense highs and intense lows of, love. And it's the perfect match for this book in a lot of ways. Not like not the most perfect match, like not exact. None of these are exact. It's just going on vibes and my personal vibes for me. But yeah, this one is it's a tough read, but Julianne Peters is a really great author, and I really love this book from what I remember of it. About this book, I really love it, but I haven't read it in quite a long time, so it might be a little bit dated, just as a warning. But the next book I'm going to talk about is Like a Love Story by Abdi Nazimian, and the album that I think this correlates with is 1989. This book actually takes place in the 80s, and a lot of Taylor's inspo for this album come from 80s tunes. It also deals with love and loss, heartbreak, having fun with your friends, and the album deals with those things too. The friend group in the book reminds me a lot of the song New Romantics from this album, so that's my special mention song for that one. And also, one of our main protagonists is a Madonna fan, and I feel like he would really like this album specifically. So, Like a Love Story, I haven't seen a lot of people talk about this one. I believe this came out in 2020. I read it when I was in quarantine, and I really loved it. Next book on my list is Felix Ever After by Kacey Callender. A lot of themes in this book around actual reputation. Targeted harassment because of who the main character happens to be, a black trans guy. Taylor has described this album as finding love above all the noise, and that reminds me a lot of Felix. So the special song mention is Delicate. Next I have Love and Other Disasters by Anita Kelly, and this book screams Lover to me. I can so see these main characters slow dancing to Lover at their wedding, and it's a happy album, but it also deals with real shit, and the book kind of does too. And like I said, Lover is similar to Red in that it deals with like the ups and downs of love, but I think it deals with them in a way that like doesn't make you as depressed. And like this book like didn't like depress me at all. It was overall like a happy ride. Like I was, happy to be reading it and stuff. So my first thought when I was thinking about Lover was definitely Love and Other Disasters. Next up I have Yerba Buena by Nina LaCour. I don't have much of an explanation for this other than just vibes, The vibes are very folklore. The characters are very folklore. That doesn't make any sense. The characters are very folklore. What does that mean, Emmy? I don't know. You'll have to read it and find out. The song that I will mention is Seven. And I don't even know if Seven even relates to the story at all. But like I said, it is all about vibes, baby. We Are Okay by Nina LaCour. And yeah, I know, same author twice in a row. But listen, I love Nina LaCour. Okay, so let's talk about how Evermore is basically this book's sister. This book is set in the wintertime. It deals a lot with loneliness and melancholy. And the album Evermore, it's inherently sapphic. It just is. There are a lot of songs on the album that you can connect to Mabel and Marin, who are like the main couple, I guess, in the book. But when I think about the book, I mostly think about songs that I can connect to Marin. She's a really sad character, and I would love to find her a good therapist. A special song mention would be Evermore, definitely. And I've been waiting for this one. The book that I relate the most to Midnight is How to Be Alone, If You Want to, and Even If You Don't by Lane Moore. This is one of my favorite memoirs of all time, and nobody ever talks about it. And the crazy thing is that before Midnights came out, I picked this one because I was like, you know, this seems like it'll be the vibes. Like, based just on what Taylor said about the album, I was like, I think it's gonna have the same vibes. And then when the album came out, I was like, oh my god, I was right. So basically, this memoir is written by a queer author, and this book saved my life in 2020. It's definitely one of my favorite memoirs, and it's what I imagined the Midnights album to be like, and it actually kind of really is. It's funny, it's sad, it, you know, has a lot of comforting stuff in it, and just, you know, like, it's like you're alone, it's like about being alone, but, you know, being okay with that. And very eloquent of me to say that. It's about like being young and like dealing with your 20s and dealing with your life and dealing with being alone, and it's reflective and heartbreaking, but it's also very hopeful, and that's definitely what Midnight is to me. So I love that book, and you should read it. You should actually read all of these, but you should especially read that one. So that's going to be it for me. This might be a little bit of a short one. I don't know. We'll see what it looks like after editing. But hey, I filmed something. I'm really proud of myself for being able to film something, because I've been just way too tired and way too unmotivated to do it lately. And, you know, it's good to be back. It's good to be back. So I hope that you enjoyed this. If you have any books that you relate to certain albums, whether they're queer or not, but I would love to hear your queer interpretations. But whether they're queer or not, like, feel free to leave them in the comments. Talk to me in the comments. And if you're the nicest person in the world, subscribe, because sometimes I post videos. All right. I love you. Stay safe. Bye.